So, as I mentioned, yes, Datorama is now part of Salesforce, but as a business, we've been actually around for about 8 years now. And as part of our technology, or what we set out to do, our kind of mission statement hasn't really changed, or the technology of what we're trying to solve has not changed since the company was founded over 8 years ago. And really, the tagline of Datorama is marketing intelligence. And what we try and solve, or what we do solve for clients, is bringing a single source of truth to all of your media, marketing, sales data. So in terms of where the company comes from, I just want to give you a little bit of a background on our founders and why we started this company. So we come from the ad tech ecosystem. So there's some logos here you may or may not know. Seismic being one of the chief ones, where our CEO came from, a guy called Ran Sarek. He was one of the chief product officers at Seismic, which is involved in, if you know it, ad serving online and delivering an ad, one of the major competitors to Google's ad server. It's now been recently bought by Amazon, if you followed any of the news recently. And while he was working there, he was interacting with media agencies, interacting with clients who kept on telling him the same thing, that the report that you give me is great. It's great that you can tell me when you deliver an ad and how many people kind of clicked on that one ad through Seismic. But really, I'm facing this bigger challenge. And this bigger challenge is that I don't just work with you or do online display. I also have search advertising. I'm also sending emails. And I'm also spending across Google, Facebook, all the kind of big guys or names that you know and hear of. So what I need is a single view, a single consolidated view that tells me, sometimes very simple, but really they're profound questions, such as, how much did I spend today? How much did I spend yesterday? And for the marketing dollars that I invest in, what is providing me the best returns? And other parts of our business, our chief strategy officer, a woman called Katrin, came from Havas Media Group as well. So long lineage of ad tech, ecosystem, agency side and brand side coming together with Datorama to form the company. So we sit as part of the Salesforce Marketing Cloud, but we're an agnostic platform that can bring in any data source, as you see. The journey that's brought us to, be part of Salesforce really outlines, what challenges we solve. Because one of our biggest clients, or one of our key clients globally, was Salesforce. So previous to using Datorama, the Salesforce team, we're all at a Salesforce event today. Has, like you do, prospects or customers and prospects that they want to attract to events like this. Imagine with Salesforce, and I do know they invest heavily in things like LinkedIn advertising, a message about new products or how their marketing cloud is evolving. But they found that it was very difficult to connect all of this data, what they were spending, what people were coming in from things like events, to the key thing, which is what Salesforce, as you can imagine, want to know, is how many sales did they make? What was the revenue? And what is the different channels that contribute to that revenue? So the platform was so widely used by that team, was so widely used, by the Salesforce clients as well. They kept on hearing our clients, our agencies that we work with say, this Datorama product, it's changed completely the way we work. We're spending less hours doing reporting. We've got actionable insights, and we can, kind of tell senior management what's going on with marketing, which led, it to be introduced to the CEO of Salesforce, Mark Benioff, and I think it was a fairly short 2-3 month real negotiation, and was acquired by Salesforce for near $1 billion. So on acquisition, which was a year ago, we were 400 employees, and now we've grown just in a year within Datorama in the Salesforce team to over 850 employees globally. And we were managing the APAC business out of Singapore. Lots of interest in India, but not the time effort. It was just me, myself, managing the whole region. As you can imagine, if I could split myself into 100, I could have. But we're now much more focused. We have more reps. We have the great Salesforce team as well. People like Ravi introducing us to telcos, clients all across the region. And in that time period, I think we've signed 10 new campaigns, 10 new brands, just here within India. So what are some of the challenges that our customers tell us? And where do we really feel that Datorama helps our customers with those challenges? So challenge number one, and the challenges that we face in marketing right now is challenges of transparency, wasted money. I'm spending so much time, or someone in my team is, sometimes we don't even know, but we get this report. How's it been generated? You find out that there's 5 people each week that sit there in Excel putting that report together. Not a hugely gratifying job. Sometimes we started off in those places, so you just think, that's just the way it is. You have to do those jobs to kind of work your way up. However, the problem we have is when you're going onto Google, going onto Facebook, downloading those reports, getting your report probably from a media agency as well, mashing it together in Excel, putting it into a PowerPoint. The moment that you've done that, that report is already out of date. The moment that you click save, it's already in the past. What we offer to clients and through Datorama, what you get is an up-to-date dashboard with all of your data sources connected, harmonized, built for marketing, so that every single day you come in and it's the first thing you look at when you get into the office, and it'll be the last thing you look at, because it tells you where to spend your time. It tells you, do we have a problem with, not as many emails being opened in Marketing Cloud, so maybe we need to go into that. Or do we have a problem with, one of our affiliates that we're working with is really performing badly from a CPA standpoint. So it allows transparency between our partners, potentially agencies that we're working with, and it allows us to show where money potentially is being wasted. The second challenge, and the thing that we help then our marketers, our operations teams, and technology teams who interact with the platform, is speed. Once we automate these processes, once we don't have people maybe doing manual Excel or even tracking goals each day, we can then start acting or progressing at speed. We can start making decisions at speed and making data-driven decisions as well. And really, our roles as marketers, are very much changing. It's not the days of putting stuff on print ads and the days of putting stuff on TV and, maybe going out for lunch and just waiting for the report at the end of the month. They're gone, right? Data is flooding us every single day, telling us what's performing well, what's not performing well. As humans, we only have a certain brain capacity, time of day. We're not good at those tasks. What we are good at is making decisions, making strategic decisions, but a lot of that time is unfortunately been taken away with manual processes, from the bottom all the way up to the top. I speak to marketing directors who still, even them themselves are having to put together a lot of Excel spreadsheets, and they don't want to do that anymore. And having this platform in turn is going to, and it does let you show as a business how your marketing teams are growing your business and growing the business to the KPIs that the business has, not looking at things like clicks, potentially not looking at things like impressions, but looking at things that matter to, the real bosses, which are, the CEO, or to be honest, the real boss, the CFO, right? Who gives us that budget, who gives us that check to, spend each year on marketing. It's no more kind of finger in the air saying, well, I think we did a really good TV ad last year, and that's probably one of the reasons. We can start going to them and say, look, here it is. They're not going to see every bit of the dashboard, but a filtered version of it for the senior stakeholders saying, Facebook was a very high-performing channel. I need more money to invest in there because these are the results. So I've kind of touched on this already, but this is the problem that we have as marketers, is that we lack this single source of truth because, we ultimately are all coming to our Monday morning meeting or Tuesday morning meeting, wherever it may be, And often we're all speaking in different languages, right? Because someone's got one report, another person's coming with their Google Analytics report, and all of this data is sending us in different directions. You've got your data coming in from your agency partners, your data coming in from potentially some activities that you're doing yourself. What do we trust, and how do we bring this all together? But the process of bringing it all together is really, it's not easy. So if we look at, for example, the task that we have as marketers, or the marketing data sources, I don't think any of us, maybe a couple of us, I don't know exactly the roles of everyone in the room, started out life wanting to become data scientists, right? But unfortunately, sometimes that's what we've had to do, because people are wanting these insights. They know that it's available. But if you look at the type of data sources that we have to interact with on any one given day, or any 2 campaigns, for example, if you sit down with anyone else in your business, if you work, in an automotive industry, and you have, parts of the business which show how many cars are being sold, for example, I imagine that data source, wherever it comes from, it's not probably going to change that often. You can speak to a CTO, that data's probably been built somewhere so that the CEO can have viewpoint on it. However, when we look at the jobs that we have as marketers, it's just constantly changing. So, going back to the example of automotive industry, for example, you have 2 different car models. So you're the same company, but there's 2 different completely types of audiences. So you need to be wary of the audience, the targeting, all the things that Mirum have said to you before. But most likely those audiences are going to be different channels, right? So you might have 5 different data sources for one audience, and another 5 different data sources, Facebook, Google, offline, because the other one is more for, not so much the younger or millennial generation. Which means that, if you want to build something like this yourself, which you can do, it's a huge headache. It ends up becoming a massive thing to maintain, and a massive thing, a burden for the business in terms of taking so much resources away from technology. We have 400 developers that have built this product, and we've scaled it across the globe, and we've built it exactly for everyone in this room, for marketers. And the other key thing is we built it to be used by marketers as well. So the use of Datorama, and when I show the dashboard shortly, is prevalent in terms of how we built it. Is that the thing that we've actually built the whole platform off is what I would say is our number 1 competitor, and I bashed it a bit, is Excel. So you don't need to go back to school, learn any more languages, these languages around coding and SQL or RScript, which is what you'd have to do in different BI platforms, or building this yourself. All you do is you take the existing skills that we know that all of you have and your teams have, and those great, junior level people potentially that have been putting all these Excel reports, and you just reskill them in Datorama. You get that time back, and also you keep the IP within the marketing team, but connect it also potentially to the other dashboards that the business want. Because time and time again, I come in and I speak to clients who have maybe tried to undertake this project or build Datorama themselves, and they've got something up and running and live, and it's been a bit of a headache. Took them 9 months or a year. With Datorama, it takes us 3 months because everything's there and built for you. And then the worst thing happens, right? The data engineer or the IT person who builds this gets a new job, right? We can't keep people shackled to the company just because they've built something. And I've come in before in media agencies and clients, and they've told me, we've now got this thing, and we don't know how to use it. So, they don't know how to maintain it. And not just that, but also a lot of the time if someone else comes in, because it's a very personal thing, sometimes building this or what an IT person will go through to build it, you'll get a new person who comes in and goes, you know what, I don't like the way they built it. They build it all again. Whereas within Datorama, because to learn the basics of it, to learn our level 1 skills of being able to connect data. It's a 2-3 hour course within the platform, so you can keep the continuity and not have to worry about staff kind of churn and not being able to use the platform. So the other thing about the platform is you're investing in something that's future-proof as well. So even when you create or build something potentially yourself, the difficulty is that it often becomes a shiny new object for the IT team potentially to get involved in. But do they want to be with you long term? You know, they have many other things. You know, and that's what we at Datorama want to do. You know, we want to empower businesses and empower IT teams to do what they're best at. And if you're Flipkart and you're an online commerce or marketplace, you know, the thing that you're best at is selling. It's selling online and having the best website. Do you really want to take all those people, you know, time, effort away to do what is, you know, something that a marketer really needs to do? But every year it's not stopping, right? There's new technologies, there's new platforms. So, you know, Snapchat, for example, 2-3 years ago, we weren't really hearing about it too much. But now there's a huge amount. Now we have another one, TikTok, which a lot of people are getting involved in. You know, how can you have a platform that's future-proof? Because we're, even ourselves, we've got loads of connections already, but we're never going to have every connection for everyone in the world. But within Datorama, it doesn't matter. With Excel-based skills, you can upload a file, create a connection, and automate that all in about 2-3 hours once you've had some training. So I'm going to move over, show you the bit of the platform, give you kind of a little bit of run round and through. If you have any specific questions while I'm up in the platform, shoot at me. If they're very technical, Mirum might jump up and help me. And then we'll go on to, you know, just a couple of things, you know, solidifying, you know, what are customers, the kind of performance gains that they've got from Datorama? What does it mean for a business? What do we hear the results that we get? And, you know, just a bit of a case study, basically. So, cool. So here it is. This is what Datorama looks like. I'm going to have to kind of sit here and look at the screen while I do it. Zoom in a little bit more. So to build, you know, a platform like Datorama yourself, it involves, you know, a huge amount of different processes and different technologies to stitch together. First of all, you have to have a database. You have to have somewhere where you can store all that data, you know, and that could be a dusty old server that actually exists within your business, or you could, you know, invest in a cloud server storage, you know, get a database engineer to manage all that for you. The next thing you have to do is then create all those connections. So all those lovely logos that we had on the page, you have to start connecting them. Connecting them is not necessarily the difficult bit, because the other thing that's very, very different in our industry or the technologies that we work with is the maintenance of them. So it's almost like an arms race, right? You know, Salesforce and Adobe, also Facebook and Google, all the time they're updating. So maybe a little guess if someone wants to try and shout out the answer. How many times do you think last year our team had to rebuild the Facebook API? Anyone? Anyone want to guess? Higher? Higher? 26 times. So 26 times our team had to rebuild the logo you'll see in a second. That was just the Facebook page. You know, obviously there was quite a big year for Facebook last year on a lot of the data breaches, security breaches. So you can bet that every time you saw one of those in the newspaper, we had to rebuild them. And this goes back to this, you know, taking on this project yourself or building it yourself. You know, 2 months, 3 months down the line, when that IT person has built this for you, and you call them up and say there's no data flowing in, it's broken again. It's not broken. It's just that Facebook have done an update and they need to rebuild it again. You know, the reason that we do it is because it's our business, right? If we don't have it done, we have 20,000 clients all around the globe screaming at us. So we make sure, and our developers would have and do have things like direct lines into the Facebook team, into the Google team, to make sure that you never know. That's part of the service that we provide to you. There may have been a rebuild of the whole of the Facebook API to bring data into the platform. You get in one day, you get in the next day, you never know. The background work is done by our team. So you need to store it, you need to connect it, and then you need to make sense of it, right? Because all of these platforms weren't built by the same person. I'm going to show you some of them now. So if we take, the part of the platform that we're seeing here, which is all these connections that you're making. And also when we think about these connections and data streams, even if we just think about something like these key ones here, right? These are the probably ones where maybe 80% of your spend is going. Sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on what regions you are. So this is the little logo here, the Facebook ads connector that we have. And 26 times we had to rebuild it last year. But the Facebook and the Google team, they didn't build their platform so that they exactly spit out the same report, right? They call things different naming conventions. So when you're stitching all this together, and anyone in the room who's done this before, tried to put in a Google Facebook report together, will know that they don't match up. Impressions is named one thing, and then you've got IMPS with an underscore and then an exclamation mark, and you're like, this is frustrating. I just want to know how many impressions we've delivered. Our team have done all that for you. So when you look at this, laundry list of, some of the, 100 plus key marketing channels that you'd want to bring into Datorama, you can almost think about it that they're already connected as well, because there's a data model that exists in the platform that already links all of those together. So we have these data connections already made. So as I said, we have, of course, all the Salesforce ones as well. More and more since we've been acquired by Salesforce. There seems to be a new one of these every kind of month or so. And these enable you through clicks and not code to come into a data source like Facebook. Click on that. Just log in with your details. Once you've logged in, the data starts automatically pulling in every day into the platform. So we also know that, as I mentioned, we don't have a connection currently for something like TikTok. So you have a way within Datorama, which is called Total Connect, which is a super powerful feature of taking like your TikTok report or Times of India or random sales report, because you're still doing your sales on CRM, for example, if you've not moved over to Sales Cloud. You connect it one time, so you drag and drop it and connect it one time. Our AI in the platform immediately starts to map that data source and suggests where you should put it. So it's like having a mini data scientist built in there already. And again, that means that you don't need to know some of these data coding language skills. Because any customizations that you might need to make, let's say you wanted to do a custom calculation. A good example of one is reach, for example. Everyone has their own definition because everyone gives you a different definition. But as a brand, you'll often say, right, this is our definition of reach. So within the platform, you can just write, an Excel query or an Excel script and just come up with your own calculation, apply it across all the data. We also enable you to connect all historical systems. So if you want to connect all of those systems that your IT team have built, if you want to pull your data in from there, you can do it. So within Datorama, just to kind of review some of the platform, we have the database is already there for you. You don't need to go out to AWS. All of the connections are already there for you, as you can see here. And all of those are harmonized and mapped. And all of those key metrics as a brand, you'd want to, probably start to put into some of your dashboards, like click-through rates or CPAs. A load of those calculations are already done as well. And, probably some of the other asks I get, or what people see when they see a dashboard is, well, you must be a competitor with Tableau, right? And funny that Salesforce has just bought Tableau or Power BI. We're actually not a competitor with them, because Tableau is visualization. So this section here, which is called Visualize, this is the Tableau part of Datorama. the pictures, the visualizations, they're the market leader, they're the best in the world at that. But really, you need to compare Datorama to actually a full IT team building it together, because that's what we are. We're end to end. So what do some of the dashboards look like that we deliver to our clients? So we set up within the platform things like KPIs, goals, and alerts. So you can see we're tracking things like revenue, tracking things like CPA. We're not looking at things in silos anymore. Well, we would look at them because we'd also create dashboards for you on those silos. But importantly, we're looking at things and we're tracking, total conversions, total CPA. In the platform, we've got insights built into it. So you can actually generate insights based on that data in the platform. And you can start doing comparison on your different channels. So how much is social driving us? How much is the different channels driving us in terms of revenue? And you can start to build in things like conversion funnels. So we can see here, we have search, video, display, social. Which of those are giving us landing pages? Which of those are giving us product pages? And which of those are giving us orders, for example? We've taken also one step further and built an app store in the platform as well. So not only do we have, all of the data ready for you, all connected, but we also have pre-built dashboards that are already ready for you. So you can come in here into the app store. This one's a great one called Social Intelligence. If I click on this, I can view the demo. So stuff that people want to view a lot of the time are things like, well, how am I tracking against my competitors? If you remember back to that screen or the list of APIs, we have connectors for public pages. So you could come in here, and we could do it with any one of your competitors. It would take 5 minutes to do because it's already been built. Type in their names, put in their Facebook pages, and you can see how am I growing compared to my competitors? How frequently should I post? What time should I post? And what are some of the top posts that my competitors versus us are doing? And we're also opening up this part of the platform to some of our valued partners, people like Mirum, for example, as well. And they'll actually be able to come in here, build an app. Most of them are free now, but they may charge for them because they build it once, and it can scale across every customer that Datorama has. So, I guess in summary, what makes us unique is that we have that, marketing data superset, again, built by marketers for marketers. And it's not just the platform as well, but it's the people. I previously worked selling to media agencies, selling to brands, mobile ad technology, Mirum as well, who's been part of our team as well since before the acquisition. She's worked on customer success, worked on ad operations in different business units as well, and different technologies, which means that also when you come to us with a problem or an issue, unlike potentially going to your IT team where you may find yourself, basically telling them what marketing is or trying to speak in different languages, so they don't understand things like CPMs, click-through rates. We understand that, along with our partners as well, who support you like Mirum. It's all driven by AI. So AI takes the heavy lifting and mapping the data and also generating insights. And these are some of the tangible business results that we hear. Conservatively, if you're running especially a huge amount of acquisition campaigns, if you're running campaigns which you're tracking across multiple platforms, spending a lot of time in reporting, we put that budget back to work. The next case study is Ticketmaster, which we've got, global ticketing company. They have 600 different data streams connected to the platform because they have, for Facebook, you imagine they have a different ad account for every market that they're in. Imagine trying to build all that yourself. It's a big challenge. Uplifts of 30% on campaign KPI and performance. Gaining your time back. I think Ravi touched on it earlier today. We had one of the agencies that use Datorama present up in Hong Kong. I gave them kind of a slide and said, fill in a few kind of benefits and, he did the standard ones of what it's brought to your business. And an interesting one that he put down was staff retention. I said, what does that mean? He's like, my staff are happier because they don't have to spend 2 a.m. in the morning sometimes doing these reports, and they feel more valued in their job. We're just reskilling them into using Datorama, and then they're doing more interesting work on the analysis and insights rather than the manual number crunching, which is not too fun for anyone. And as a business, it will allow you to hold every dollar accountable. So it allowed you to take to the senior management, this is what the marketing team are doing, this is what we're spending the money on, and this is what's performing well for us. And just to, corroborate that, this is some of the examples of Ticketmaster, what they saw. Over 300 different sources, revenue growth. One of the key things that I want to point out is this number here. So previous to Datorama, this is a team that manage a lot of the campaigns themselves and launching themselves. Previous to Datorama, they were launching 1,000 campaigns as a marketing team. After it, they were launching 2,000. So they managed to double their productivity without hiring any new staff. That when I first started to get into Datorama and heard stories and joining the company, even before we were probably a twinkle in Salesforce's eye, what got me very excited about. And with any new technology, there's always a little bit of a learning curve in changing behavior. And the main behavior that we need to change is we're not going to go full back to Excel anymore because we've automated all of that out. It's now all in Datorama. Once our clients are up and running with us, our retention rate is huge because in the words of one of the girls who was quite a junior person at a company that worked with us and worked on Datorama, she only had known Datorama. She came straight out of university and was using it to manage her campaigns and create reports. She spent 2-3 years there, and like anyone who's young and ambitious, moved to another competitor. And this girl called me up and she said, they don't have Datorama here. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm working on it. And she said, suddenly I'm spending all this time doing reports. And, you can see that it really changed the way she thought about her job. And, we actually 6 or 7 months later did sign a license with that company and rolled it out. So yeah, that's Platform in a nutshell. I'm happy to answer a few questions if I have time, or if you want to carry on. Does anyone have any? Sure, yeah.
So my story is quite similar to the junior that you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So we are from Flynode. We are a travel company. So we are from Flynode. We are a travel company. The current scenario which we have is we want to keep the marketing team on edge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that comes with when you see live numbers and when you see data moving in front of you, right? So we went to our tech team, presented the same situations. Basically, what we wanted to do is see the ROI which we are getting back from our marketing campaigns. Mm-hmm. We are heavily relying on AdWords and Facebook right now, and the problem which we faced is we use MongoDB. We have an in-house CRM, mm-hmm. So we are able to see the marketing stats, but we are not able to correlate the same with sales data. Right. We explored quite other platforms such as Clipfolio, Tableau, but the issue is it takes the data which we provide, right, the sales data which we want to get, mm-hmm. It takes at least 1 day for complete to integrate properly with the tools which we'll be using. So I just wanted to know how good the integration of your product is with MongoDB.
So that's a very specific one.
Yes, I mean my problem is also quite specific.
Yeah, no worries. I think that for that one for sure, you can see that we have the MongoDB connector.
Okay.
The typical refresh rate that we have is either a 24-hour or an hourly refresh rate in the platform. So you can choose either. Now, sometimes you're restricted to what that API offers, for example.
Okay.
So with a lot of the ones that you can see, some of them offer you to get in data in hourly, for example.
Okay.
And some of them offer only once a pull. In that sense, it's a very kind of on point question and very technical one. At that point, you may, even within a product like Datorama, get the technology team and involve a build there.
Okay.
I guess usually what I ask for clients is how important is it to have the data there exactly to the minute? If that is really important, then maybe you do want to go down a bit of a bigger technology project. What we typically see with most clients, not all of them, is that everyone's at a different stage of their data visualization journey. We've still got people, have clients literally that tell me that they've given up on reporting and they're not even doing it anymore. Some that are getting a weekly report in PDF, some that are getting monthly, some that have some of it in Google Analytics or Data Studio, but there's still a lot of disparity. So yeah, again, it's
So for us, it's very easy to get before the leads data. But what happens after when it's generated as a lead and it goes to the sales team, that is which we are still facing issues in the proper reporting of it. In the sense, if you are spending 100 rupees, for example, on Facebook, how much are we getting back from sales?
Yeah.
That is the metrics which we are still unable to. We are doing, obviously we are using Excel sheets right now.
Yeah.
That's the basics, but we want to keep it very on the go. So you're saying, I mean, one day's time is enough. So if you want to analyze yesterday's data, we can do it today.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly, yeah. And a lot of the key ones like Facebook and Google you mentioned, we have the ability to push in today's data up to date for you today as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Cool.
That answers my question.
Anyone else? Sure.
Biggest challenge in selling Datorama to companies or organizations which already have data engineering, data operations team, marketing team, sort of very set structure and roles, etc.
Yeah.
So what kind of pushbacks do you get?
I think highlighted a couple of them already. It's a really great question. There's two main things that we face maybe three actually. The first one would be a resistance to change, potentially from senior management or even from below as well. As in that there's almost this we love to hate Excel, I like to call it, in that we feel quite valued when we're doing Excel, but we kind of hate doing it, right? So changing people's behavioral patterns needs to come from all levels. The second bit, which you kind of touched on, is then it is difficult sometimes to explain, why potentially you need another BI tool, is what some people would call it. And that's really when we go into the deep or delve into things like I mentioned a few times around having to rebuild that Facebook API many times. With enough time, effort, and pressure, right, you can do anything. You can build rocket ships, right? However, what I always ask to businesses, is that your key focus? Is your key focus to take a huge amount of engineering away to build this and then maintain it afterwards? Or, and this fits in quite well with actually the story of Tableau, because I guess the moment that was announced, I was kind of a little bit like, what is it? We're still not sharing any data with Tableau. Now they've become part of Salesforce, we're still going through competition rules. But that's really where I see it. When I go and meet my customers, I'm not talking to them and saying, you need to delete all your Tableau dashboards. Obviously can't say that now anymore, and I wouldn't before, but we're not looking at, revolutionizing the whole of your business. We know that in specifics, marketing has a specific challenge that we can solve. And we've always, actually for the last 2 years, we actually have an inbuilt Tableau connector, for example. So you know what, and this is where the data engineers or the IT team actually gets excited because, carry on with what you're doing and we'll push the results out into the wider business, because there's stuff that will come out of here that the CEO will want to see. He won't want to see the nitty gritty because that's what the marketing team wants to see.
Yeah, the reason why I asked that was because many years ago, so I lead a campaign marketing operations team, and we made the case for integrating a lot of data sources and pushing it through Tableau, right? So that we have insights when we needed automated dashboards. And then at that point in time, we largely were on email, tele, some of those channels. Then all the Facebook, Google AdWords, everything came up, and then Google also has their own data studio. So a few people in my team are really like working on Google Data Studio. a lot of reporting happens there. Now we're talking about Salesforce Marketing Cloud, and there we see Salesforce Marketing Cloud, its own, there's native out of the box set of reporting that you get from Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So in an environment where already so much of discussion, so much of work, sort of already has happened and is happening, we introduced one more discussion about, getting another platform. It's very important to make that strong use case, right? And there is a reason why we should be switching when you have data ops team, you have so many people doing their own stuff, right? But I see your point. So
and I come back to it time and time again. And obviously, Google does have Data Studio. It's a free product, and I would ask you, what other non-Google data sources do you have in Data Studio?
Yeah, I know there are few limitations.
Yeah,
there.
it's actually not limitations. You can do it, but it becomes super tricky. So Datorama is about giving your whole marketing team access to bringing those silos together, right? Having the email team talk to the web analytics team, talking in the same language, and being able to determine what's performing well,
Absolutely.
not just in the silos. Cool. I think that's my time. Thank you very much. It's great to meet everyone. Cheers.